Good morning to all the participants and welcome you to the second session of the day. Today we're going to have three sessions in this day. Today we have with us Professor M.S. Malik. Sir is Dean and Principal Investigator, NAHEP, CAAST, Faculty of Forestry, Birsa Agriculture University, Ranchi, Jharkhand. And the topic chosen for deliberation today is agroforestry and their utilization in livestock-based integrated farming system. Sir, you are audible as well as visible. Your presentation is also visible. Please start. Please start, sir.
Yeah. Thank you to organizer NADCL for very important topics for 21 days refresher program, refresher course on integrated farming system, based on integrated farming system with respect to livestock. So this is a very important at this present junction, and I have seen the 21 days program. That is each component of the integrated farming system with special reference to livestock has been organized, which is very, very useful to the participants and it will be also useful to the PG students. So this program is designed in such a way, and all the topics, components of integrated farming system has been there. Then I am highly thankful to Birsa Agriculture University, Honorable Vice Chancellor also for accepting this, for organizing through NAHEP. This is a National Agriculture Higher Education Project. I like to share my views regarding this NAHEP just for one or two sentences, that this NAHEP is National Agriculture Higher Education Project, is a World Bank funded ICR project, and this is nearly 1100 crores, and for which different aspects of the higher education has been designed. And for this, Birsa Agriculture University have received this NAHEP CAST and on IFS, so on integrated farming system with a tune of nearly 25 crores. So we have developed this NAHEP program for research purpose also, and we have developed different models of integrated farming system, which you have seen different components, details in the program. So in this regard, I like to share that this NAHEP is very much interested to develop Birsa Agriculture University, and we have developed also as a center of excellence on integrated farming system. We have a model of 2 hectares model on integrated farming system, 1 hectare models on integrated farming system, which consist of this agricultural crops, cultivation of agricultural crops, then poultry, then livestock, then we have apiculture, we have a fishery, we have a vegetable, organic vegetables, then we have a honeybee, we have a agroforestry also in terms of this. We are also producing this vermicompost. All things we will discuss in our slide also. Then we have a separate duck cum fish farming system. Then we have developed the agroforestry based farming system, in which we have includes the agri-silviculture, silvipasture, then agri-silvipasture. Then we have also developed the horticulture biodiversity park. In this park, we have a collection of throughout all the horticulture species suitable to this climatic condition at one place from different parts of the India. So such type of we have developed the integrated farming system for landless farmers. There is no need of lands for the integrated farming. So such a design, which was highly acceptable by, appreciated by the World Bank and this authority at Delhi, ICR also, about this integrated farming system. Some center got on conservation agriculture, some center got on this biotechnological aspect. Some centers got like that. Nearly 22 agriculture university got that fund. So today I like to share with you on agroforestry and their utilization in livestock based integrated farming system. In this, as we know that, as I discussed also earlier, that we in integrated farming system, we includes many components, so that one product of the one will be recycled and will be used by the other products. And the modus operandi of this is to get a better livelihood of the farmers and income generation. So that's why we are including all these components, so that the farmers can get continuous income from this integrated farming system, and then they have a good amount of nutritional food also for their own use. So we are also calculating the economics of that. So in this aspect, agroforestry is a very important nowadays. Even in this budget also, they have mentioned about the agroforestry. In this agroforestry, we are including the crops, animals, and pastures also. So that's why this system is very important. Nowadays, we are this is acceptable in a very fast way. So in this system, many of the cycles nature which are beneficial to both animals and their environment. So that we used to think in a way, so that higher this can be. So just for that, because when we include the animals in the agroforestry, some say that what is the use of this? Because it says that agriculture and forestry, but it is not like that. For pasture lands also, that's why three main components of this agroforestry or subdivision of the agroforestry: agri-silviculture, silvi-pasture, that is a tree with the pastures, animals, and then agri-silvi-pasture. So that way we are this. So we have to manage in a this all these components based on animals also in a such a way, so that we can get a sustainable farming system. I think everybody knows about the what is sustainable farming system, and it's sustainable itself. When we say see that S, that is a suitable, U for useful of this farming system, then social value, that is must be their social value. Then we have to use the timely approach, so that we can get a better income on that. And then appropriate technology must be included in this, so that it will be useful there. Then indigenous skills in agroforestry, we used to share that we have to take care of indigenous skills, indigenous these things. Then need based, that is very important. When we organize the things, we used to see that what is their need. So that component can be included in the agroforestry or farming system, that will be there. And the active participants or participation is required, behavioral change, and low cost. Whatever we say, we have to calculate the economics. We have to calculate that, so that when we approach low cost, then it will be more beneficial to them. And then nowadays, at the present situation, seeing this COVID, tsunami, so many these things, we have to approach eco-friendly system. So that is a very important in this system. So the definition itself says the intentional combination of trees. We used to keep intentionally the trees, crops, and livestock, which includes the management of the interaction between the components as an integrated agro ecosystem, in which we have mentioned that the crops, livestock, we have to see that it should be compatible. When we use the crop, when we used with the tree, we used to think two things very important. One is that it should be compatible. That tree under which agriculture crops we are growing, that must be a compatible. That's why that way it will be more. So we have to select a species. We have to select the crops in a such a way that should be compatible. And then these systems share the nutrients to each other. So that is a very important in this agroforestry. And we used to consider the cultural practices of the local people. So you see that here we have a agroforestry in middle. See that agriculture components also here, animal components is also here, and tree is also there, and the pasture lands. These things helps in the benefit of the farmers and eco-friendly agriculture also. They can get income from forestry, they can get income this proteinous this pasture lands, then they will animal will be used for the grazing. Animal will use the for grazing purpose, and by that way animal production is will be enhanced, and the milk production is also enhanced. And when we take the agriculture in between the tree gap, that must be compatible and generate an income to the farmers. When as just see that, because this is integrated farming system based on livestock, so we have to think what is the livestock wealth in India. So India supports nearly 20% of the world's livestock. So this is a very important when we see that India is leading. And then for cattle 16%, buffalo 55% population, and has world's second largest goat. And it is a very profitable, very profitable business when we include the goat. It is very acceptable all over India, whether it is a southern region, whether it is in temperate region, they are using the sheep also. So that way, India, fourth largest sheep, that is nearly 5% population. This there. So the livestock population estimates when we think in million adult cattle units. So see that how it was 2015, then what is the 2020, and when we are predicting 2025. So it is continuously increasing the population of this cattle, buffalo, sheep, and goat also. So these documents indicates that this livestock production is and interest of the farmers is enhancing. So when we see that this production of milk, so we are self-sufficient in meat and poultry. But when we see that per capita, then we have less. So when we see per capita availability of milk is 178 gram against the World Health Organization recommendation is 250 grams. So we have to think that how we can increase these things, and we have to include in the farming system. And for that we have to all the resources has to be generated, all the resources has to be incorporated, so that the production can be met as per the demand, and even we can export also. So even in the case of poultry sector, the egg and meat is only 35,800, that is 800 gram per capita. But again, the WHO requirement is 180 eggs is required per capita per year. So of course, we have to think to increase the poultry business. We have to include as the entrepreneurs for that there. Then if we see that low productivity of livestock is a matter of concern, so for India is concerned. So we have the things, and our participant has to think that how to increase the livestock production so that we can meet the demand. Otherwise, we feel sorry. So to meet that is not a very difficult task. Only the things, once we have a very good quality feeds and fodder. Quality feed and fodder is a very important in the production of milk, when we think the crude protein and all these things there. So if we see the demand of green fodder, dry fodder, and crude protein, so if we see that in 2015 at that time is 1,000 million tons, but in supply is only 400. That means we have a nearly only 40% near about the demand. So we have to think how to increase that one. So this green fodder deficit is 63% deficit, is a huge deficit there. For example, in our Birsa Agriculture University campus, our requirement is nearly 25 quintal per day for our dairy farms, green fodder, and we have up to reach through NAHEP 16 to 18 quintal, and but very shortly we will meet the demand. So such a things has to think the which type of green fodder, how to get the protein, crude protein higher on that way. So if we see in the 2020, there is an increase of nearly we can say one 1000, it is 1134. These things is there. So we have to think on these aspects. So see the demand of 2025. It is a challenging task. We have to think about the demand, supply, and what are the deficits there. So still, it is near about 60 to 65% deficit in the green fodder, 25% of the deficit on dry fodder, and resulting the deficit of the crude fiber. So we have to think on that way. So here it comes the integrated farming system approach to meet the demand. So as I have mentioned earlier, that we have to include as much as component as per the requirement in the integrated farming system. So where here we includes the tree component, livestock, crops, and this agroforestry, dairy unit, goat rearing, piggery is very important in northeastern region. Then we have a poultry also. Then when we select the poultry unit, we have to think about the production of egg. Like in Jharkhand, having the breed, Birsa Agriculture University, having the Jharsim breed, which breed lays that eggs is nearly 165 to 175 eggs per year. So that type 265 to 270 eggs per year. So this poultry we have to, in our farming system, we have introduced the Karaknath. So what I have noticed that it is a tribal belt, and Karaknath particularly is COVID-19. There was a demand, still there is a demand in Karaknath, and we used to sell 500 rupees per kg. In the outside market, it is 800 to 1000 rupees per kg. It is a choice of tribals also, and as per the immunity development. So this is there. So we got a very good profit from this. Then we have also includes the Sonali. So we calculate in this system, if we are using the poultry, how have to calculate how much feed they consume, how much the production. So we have noticed that 1.5 kg to 1.6 kg is more acceptable. And if beyond that, the per bird generally used to take 210 to 215 grams feed per day. So we have to calculate the cost of feed also there. In fish also ponds, we have cultivating this 3-layer system. That is because some fish like to remain at bottom, some in middle, some in upper of the ponds, upper layer of the ponds. So that we have to think on that. And we are also producing the vermicomposting. So whatever the cow dung we used to get from this farming system, we convert it into the vermicomposting system through this arrow. Then we have a very good mushroom, and we have a button mushroom. We have this oyster mushroom. So these things enhance the income. So when we include the component of beekeeping, we have a recently here Ramakrishna Mission, and then we have in 2 hectares we have kept 6 bee box, and in 1 hectare. In 2 hectare I have nearly 15 these box per hectare in 2 hectare plot. So these things we used to take care about to get a maximum benefit, and how these components integrate from one and to others. So that is a very important integrated farming system approach. And we have to calculate how this recycling of the materials, one in other way there. And we are growing here organic vegetables also nowadays, the demand of that. So we have to consider on that also aspect. So as we are discussing about these things, see how this system works as a, so enterprise, and then inputs to other enterprise also, like cattle dung mixed with the crop residues and farm waste can be converted into the nutrient rich vermicompost. So these things we have to, and results is it enhances the farm productivity, reduce the environmental degradation. Whenever we think about the farming system, we have to think about the eco-friendly, and the main objective is also there, income with eco-friendly. So we have to maintain the economic sustainability. So which is the success of the integrated farming system. So when we think that how this cycle meets in the, so in through this photographs or in a graphic way, we see that these are the components. We also include the duck also. In duck, we have a khaki camel, and then we have also white packing. So these things we are considering, and every aspect we are thinking which is the good variety of vegetables, which are the good variety of things. Then we are also in agroforestry tree components also we include. We see that how this eco-friendly, and then how it is going to meet the requirement of that. So we think in that way. So these are the silent features of the IFS. So this is the maximizing yield of all components through the optimal use of resources, effective recycling of farm waste. We have to definitely think, as I have discussed earlier, that it must be recycling of the farm waste in the integrated farming system, so that we there is no need to outside or external approach for this recycling or for the materials required for the integrated farming system. Then we have to think community-driven local system for water conservation, minimizing use of pesticides and chemicals in organic farming. Then whatever the things we use, we have to think about the judicious mixture of income generating activities. That is the more important in the system. We have to think. So how this nutrient dynamics, how its nutrients flows in the integrated farming system approach. So these things are we have to consider on that aspect when we planting of rows of nitrogen fixing trees. Just I have mentioned, when we select the things, we select about the nitrogen fixing trees that's add nutrients to the soil, and it is very good for that. So then when planting the tree, we have to think about the how to check the soil erosion in the hillside. So hilly region, that region. Then we used to maintain about the crop rotation, intercropping system in this there. Then when we grow these things, then manures of the animals component which we are integrating into the farming system, that how it helps in production of manure and this application in the fodder crop field. So that is a very important in this. There. When we see that how the economics works in the IFS models, so we have when we include the component crop, different crops, goat, poultry, then net income is nearly, when khari only crop, it is 6,000 per hectare. When we include this component on the same unit of land, then the production has increased. So these things is a very important in the 24,000. It is a 10 years back data. So this, when we include crop, goat, poultry, when we include the components of livestock components in the integrated farming system, the incomes increases. And you see that how is employment opportunity also. This is when we consider this thing, we have to consider the employment, that is the man days per hectare per year. So that is opportunity is very good. In this COVID-19, if we see the last 2 years, how this our laborers, migration of the laborers, and then not getting proper employment opportunities. So we, through this system, we can we have provided also through in the nearly 5 to 6,000 man days in the, most of them are laborers when we are doing this integrated farming system in the campus. So this is the things we have to think about. This we can include sheep also, and see that results, how the income enhance when we include the components which gives higher profit to that. So this is a very important. So when we integrating this agroforestry in livestock production system, we create a highly productive system that require less human intervention. It is a very for maintenance and control. So these is the things we are thinking on that aspect. Then we have enhances the sustainability and resilience of the livestock production system. See, as that in agroforestry, we used to say that 5F. Five, we have in hand 5 finger. In this, so this 5F helps in the system. That is the very important when we select a trees for agroforestry components or trees for the integrated farming system, which it must provide the food, it must provide the fodder. See, certain tree species are fodder tree species. So we select on that. Then it provide the fruits also. Then besides fuel wood and fiber also. So this fertilizer also. So see that how we when we select a nutrient nitrogen fixing trees, it adds fertilizer. So that way we are this 5F or 6F is considering. So we select a species. If we are not getting 6F, 5F, at least 3F must be considered for the tree in the integrated farming system or agroforestry models. So that will enhance the important, that is the nutrient cycling, while reducing energy intensive management techniques. When we integrating the natural needs, behavior and animal products with the environment, that provide by the agroforestry. So agroforestry is very, very nowadays is there. Yeah, there is a one institute also, that is ICRAF. Now it is called as World Agroforestry Center. It is in Kenya, Nairobi, and even in India also there is a separate national agroforestry policy that gives good. That policy helps in eco-friendly with the farmers, and farmers' problems have been solved through this national agroforestry policy. Even today, day before yesterday budget also, it is mentioned that agroforestry must be approached that, because it provides the employment generation also throughout the year, and upliftment of livelihood status and income generation also. So these things are very important. See that how the integration maximizes the benefits to the livestock and the system as a whole. So this is a very important uh, and livestock. See, if we have a fodder trees, how this livestock is. So this system, livestock are raised and managed habitats where they have a regular access of diverse diet, rich in where this drought situation is there, then also trees survive. So that is the problem nowadays there, because the scarcity of fodders is the major problem in some of the state. So we recommend for silvipasture, or we when we plant fast growing tree species with the buccan tree and others also, the leaves is used by the livestock. Then we also helps this sheltered microclimate, that is quite helpful in reaching the fodder quality and their ability for longer duration. That is a very important. The whatever the quality feed we are providing, that must sustain and on longer duration, and so that the beside that, it protects the animals from heat, cold, and improving their performance and for well-being. In return, these animals can perform many beneficial functions when integrated into the agroforestry system. So these things, when we think that how this sustainable way there, so these animals, because nowadays what happens, that if you see that in India, 328 million hectares lands there, but see that before independent and now after a independent from this 1947, we see that there is a lot of infrastructure development, lot of school, colleges, hospitals, roads, that development there. So land for agriculture and land for grazing purpose as a, so we have to think like green revolution helps a lot to overcome the famine. So that way we have to think about the grasses also, which will produce the good protein, which can produce the quality fodder, and also we have to think that which grasses under which tree is compatible So that research is going on, and we have to think, since most of our participants are a research background and there, so it will be a very good for that, and that will help in the integrated farming system. So we see that how this helps in the there, whatever the animals, whatever the for fruits, bird, twigs, all these waste, and with the animals, this all these things helps in decomposition, and organic waste can be used for that purpose in the growth of the tree also, and beside the grasses also, so that animals can use. So by using this natural cycles, raising of animals in agroforestry system reduce the human inputs into both the animals and the plants. So in that way, we have to think how this silvipasture helps there. So as I have mentioned earlier, that in agroforestry, three main subdivisions of the, or three main pillars of the agroforestry, that is we used to do tree with agriculture crops, tree with the pastures, and tree on all three component in one: tree, agriculture, and pasture, that there. So this is a very important land use practice that combines tree, forest, livestock, farm, and economically viable system. It is a very economically viable system. We will see in the table also how it helps in the tree as well as the production of the fodder. These forests and livestock are managed intentionally to simultaneously produce. Simultaneously, it is word is mentioned, to produce timber commodities, high quality forest resource, and efficient livestock production. We have to think about the livestock production, because there is a demand which we have mentioned earlier, that we have to overcome that way. And I'm sure with this technology development, with development of different models, helps in better livelihood as well as income generation to the farmers. So these are the, see how this animals use this pasture land for the grazing purpose and these things. So when we use these things, we used to think about the mixed fodder and different fodder there. So these are the main things when we see about this protein bank. It is very important in production, fodder production models. These protein banks, we must think on these trees, shrubs, legumes with high protein containing leaf biomass that can be managed cut and carry basis, like Lucena, Gliricidia, that species are very viable there. Then with live fences of fodder trees, which also very good, sir, in this Rajasthan area, and even in Bihar also, Acacia nilotica. This is a fodder trees and shrubs planted along with the field boundary, and it is good for the protection and good for the fodder also. So and good this animal like also that things there, particular goats and so this scattered trees in pasture land, it is a understory of the tree plantations are used by the grazing area. So whatever the tree there, that's in top story is the tree, under story shrubs and all this in, and there helps in the grazing area, and this is a very important for the livestock. When we think hedgerow intercropping system, leguminous trees are we used to incorporate, and I have mentioned about the why we used to take the leguminous trees, because it's a nitrogen fixing and others this year. So these spaces in between the hedgerow, we used to plant the fodder crops and pastures, that is Lucina, Gricidia, Tephrosia also we see that there. So the role of fodder trees in reducing fodder shortage in India is a very important, and it is definitely it is a challenging task, but we have to think about the fodder trees for maintaining, because in certain area this rainfall um, variations, certain area in hilly area, this water conservation is a problem, but pastures there, and this is the one of the reason that this livestock are not getting proper fodder, and so that their milk production and growth of the animals hampers there. So this is a very important for our most of part of our country, because animals suffer badly due to lack of protein rich diet. Since availability of fodder becomes scarce. That is in Jharkhand also we are facing this, and we are recommending always that silvi pastures models must be there. In Jammu Kashmir, in Himachal also the similar situation there. They are using the silage and all for their for dry fodder also in the winter season or snowfall season time. So we have to think about this serious situation. Dry season under rain-fed conditions, no crop can be grown, and natural pasture, grasses, and weeds becomes unproductive. So we have to think that quality fodders must be maintained. So farmers feed animals with low quality hay of the stored crop residues travel long distances. If you see that why this our Guzar Bakarwal used to travel from Kashmir to Jammu, because of that, because they have a traditional keeping of this goat, sheep, and all this. So in search of quality this fodder grasses, they used to go from here to there, and then when summer comes, they shift to the Kashmir Valley. So these are the situations there, and we have to think that how this can be enhanced. So this fodder trees, if the large scale plantation of this fodder trees are encouraged by the extension workers, and shrubs also definitely able to withstand the drought, stay green, and provide nutritious fodder for livestock in harsh condition as well. So we have to think about these things. So how to withstand in the adverse situation like drought, that at that time how we can maintain the nutritious fodder for the livestock. We have to think about this thing. So different situation to overcome with the different situation, there is a need of fodder trees for improves the livelihood and resilience of the climate. So think that this improved food, nutritious income security, that is three aspects there besides the environmental resilience. So these things are if byproduct are firewood, honey, fodder, seed, improve the growth and health reproductions, then increase milk and meat production. So we have to think from livestock, milk, and that contributes a lot in the integrated farming system. We have a all this economics, and we see that these things must be encouraged, must be promoted on these lines there, so that they can meet the and ultimately at last it comes the fodder tree. These things there, how this fodder trees helps in feed, helps in livestock supplement, meat production, milk productions, and how this reduce the drought conditions. So these things, yes, how this it happens when we develop the silvipasture models for resilience of livestock production. See how it's useful there. Mostly these are the situations there. So when we plant this nitrogen fixing noodles and all these things, are continuous uh, production of this milk and uh, this crop production. So these things we have to. So it helps in nutrient cycling, soil nutrient cycling, and that helps in the production of agriculture there. So we have to think that through nitrogen fixation, we carbon sequestration nowadays. So these things are very good in this silvipasture models. So these are the important aspect we have to think that even for tree there is a demand of timber, sawn timber demand is there, then fuel wood demand is there. So these things can be met through these silvipasture models. Beside that, we animals provide cash income, milk, meat, and this provide a very good income to the farmers when we share this fodder and all these things they are just here. So one case study here, one research conducted by our PhD student. So that see that this Melia azadiracta, the common name is Bacan, that is very good for improving fodder yield and nutritive quality of fodder crops like chara badam, stylo, bracharia, hybrid napier. And we have noticed that these things are very important. When we see the quality, fodder quality improvement, see that when we have a tree of bacan and chara badam, there is an increase in crude protein. See that when only chara badam is there, it is 10.35%, But when we intercrop as a baccan with chara, there is an increase in hybrid napier also. There is in a brachiaria also. So this green fodder yield of a hybrid napier, that is nearly 633 to 860 quintal per hectare. Other fodder grasses also quite useful, like dinanath grasses, vinny grasses. These are the another case studies. When we grow the bamboo, there's a lot of demand of bamboo, lot of demand, and very useful. See that how this national bamboo mission of Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperation helps in these things. So these bamboo, when we intercrop this bamboo, because when we plant the bamboo plantation and see that how this bamboo is a very continuous income to the farmers there. This clump consists of, when we do intercropping, we have noticed that the number of culm in a one clump. So in bamboo, the collective form of this bamboo, we used to say that clump, C-L-U-M-P, and one individual bamboo we call as culm. So at one place, when there is a lot of bamboo area is there, that is also adds. Even in the farming system also, we used to grow 3-4 column there, and at least in there the number of columns nearly 20 to 25. So the farmers can sell 20 to 25 columns per year in one column. So see the income, if it is a 200 or 300 rupees there, so they can earn 5,000 rupees from 5 to 10,000 rupees from the production of bamboo or from the sale of this bamboo. So these things are important there. Then one thing, in case of bamboo, we must consider that this bamboo, when we grow bamboo, it is good for increasing the soil nutrients level. That also there. And we have noticed that because in between the gap, when we grow the grasses, and it has a production, good production there. Then site specific selection of the bamboo is very important in this aspect. So we have to think about this thing. See, in Kerala, now this is home gardens. It is a very famous. It is also a integrated of tree, crop, animals, all these components in the homestead garden. The homestead garden of Kerala is very famous in Asian countries. Even in Philippines also, even in China also, they are promoting this home gardens. This in home gardens in your near your house, you can include the coconut, you can plant banana, you can plant jackfruit, you can plant some fruit tree also, you can keep goat also, you can produce the mushroom also, so that whatever the requirement, even in Kerala home garden, there are spices also they are producing, there coffee also, plantation of coffee 235 that is there, so that whatever they require in a year, whatever the things require, that can maximum they can get from the home garden. It is a very important nowadays and promotion, so that each inch of land can be incorporated for the production system, and that will help to the people in terms of nutrient food, in terms of income, and in terms of eco-friendly also. So these things are promoted. Even in Jharkhand also, they have this home garden type of thing, and we are encouraging this Birsa Agriculture University to include as much as component in this as per their requirement, and that whatever the things there, it will be add nutrients to the soil also, whatever the leaves and all this is after decomposition there. So at the near the house, they can get things there. Then also apiculture, very profitable business, very profitable business, apicultures there. So if you have crops, if you have a mustard crop, you have a owl crops, you can just think, just putting this and managing the apiculture, the honeybees, this box and so you will producing much honey, pure honey and demand, and it's very good for the health. And the people are aware about, and people are knowing these things, how it is very useful to the farmers also. Then aqua forestry. this even in northeastern state, northeastern region of India, they have a very good aqua forestry models there. We have also done whatever around the tree. We have planted the trees, and we have kept the box also there, and we are producing the fish also, and it's a very important that requires a promotion for that things there. So I think it is very useful nowadays to incorporate agroforestry activities with special reference to livestock, for better livelihood of the farmers, for better income generation, and need of the hour for environmental protection. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Participants, if you have any question, please ask the sir.
Abhishek.
So there is one question in the chat. So can you name few nectar producing trees? Hello. So can you answer this question?
What is the question?
Can you name few nectar producing trees?
See, when we includes the flowering trees, and which is a very good our this honeybee, so that we incorporate that flowering like Pongamia pinnata, that we are here in tribal area also. They are quite good for the production of this helps in nectar production. So that type of trees where we use to flowers, and when we keep the box there, it will be helpful to them. Thank you.
Any other question? Thank you, sir. Thank you on the basis of
Any questions? If you have, participants can ask on chat, or let me open their microphones. They can directly ask on microphones. Now you can turn on your microphones and ask questions directly.
Manoj has raised the hand.
Mostly thank yous coming.
Fish. This is Lucena leucocephala. That tree, if you plant around the bund of this pond, the leaves of the Lucena leucocephala, common name is subabul, fish like that one.
Any other question you might have, or query or comment you would want to make, please ask. If there are no questions, we can consider this session to be over, sir. Thank you on behalf of the organizing committee and on behalf of the participants, sir. We'd want to express our heartfelt gratitude towards you for joining us in this informative session. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.